Fair warning, this video discusses suicide and other such topics. I got a comment recently stating that people like Zig, Frankie, and Miles should have done something to help Esme. Even if they couldn't be what she needed, they should have gone to the school or have her seek professional help. And I don't blame them for feeling this way. After every tragedy or public display of mental illness, we always scramble to seek out the warning signs. The things that we feel someone should have noticed. And there is value in this endeavor. What we learn from studying suicide and mental illnesses inform us of the warning signs. The symptoms that add up to bigger issues like chronic depression or borderline personality disorder. But these red flags aren't always so clear. After the fact, we can always say that obviously this behavior was a sign, like Maya's distance from her friends, but that's because hindsight is 20/20. Everything is clearer when you have the full picture. But in the moment, depression can just look like sadness, as Grace said. I think Esme of all people best summed up the problem with should'ves.
No one can know what's going on inside someone's head.
Especially when you don't talk about what's going on or even actively reject help. It's hard for people to know what you're facing, and that goes for the people close to Esme. As an audience with the ability to rewatch her every appearance and then view them from the outside, the warning signs that she wasn't okay are obvious. They become especially clear when we see how she acts, knowing the stunts she pulls in season 4 and how it's strongly implied that she has borderline personality disorder. But the perspective is very different for her classmates. For Miles, she was a messed up druggie. It was clear she had issues since she faked a suicide attempt so that Miles would stop ignoring her. But not only did Miles not see how bad things were in her head, but he couldn't be around her for his own safety. He only noticed her problems when he was a recovering addict trying to separate himself from the things that made him do drugs. One of those being Esme. She represented the headspace that led to his spiral downwards in season 1, and just being around her tempted him to relapse. Technically, yes, he could have tried to get her help like how he and his dad helped Zig to get out of the gang, but that would have involved continued contact with Esme. And for Miles' safety, that was something he couldn't do. And then with Frankie and Zig, they got her help when it was clear that she wasn't just odd like she seemed. They knew she was more openly sexual than others they knew, that she was terrified of losing Zig, that she would get strangely jealous, and most of all, that she wasn't afraid to say or do anything about these parts of her. But it always seemed normalish. That it was just how Esme is, in the way that antisocial loner in her class was just the antisocial loner. Seemingly harmless, and some of her issues seemed manageable and understandable when considering her mom OD'd when she was young. But things changed when she became dangerous. Frankie saw it right away with how erratic she acted after the prom and the hint that she might have been the one to call him the bomb threat. Zig had to take a moment again as he's an abuse victim and saw Esme pushing him down the hill as an accident, and also just wanted to enjoy his graduation without any more drama. But when the opportunity and need to get her help appeared, Zig and Frankie took it. And clearly one of them must have told Miss Grell and the other staff member before confronting Esme at graduation because they knew that they wouldn't suffice to give her the help she needed. When it became too much for them to handle alone, they did take action. You may still say that they should have done it sooner, but that would require them to have known the extent of Esme's problems and view them as not just Esme being Esme, but as signs towards a larger issue. And that's how it is in real life. Even if you have hints that a person isn't okay like Grace did for Maya in Next Class Season 3 or Zig for Esme in Season 4, you won't know how deep the problems go. We are privileged as an audience because we can see from Maya and Esme's perspectives and instantly gain the why to when they act out. We can experience their world in a way that their friends and loved ones can't. I know this firsthand. In high school, I knew my best friend wasn't happy. They were constantly at odds with their mom, had heavy baggage from not being able to see their dad, was trying to stop self-harming, and was all around depressed. I knew they were stealing their mom's sleeping pills as a way to cope, but it didn't seem dangerous. It looked to me like they had it under control, and sleeping to escape life was something I would do for a good part of my junior year. Then one day, their mom found the sleeping pill stash and, of course, freaked. Grounding right as summer break was beginning and suggesting even steeper consequences. After hearing all about this over text, I decided to stop by unannounced to check on them and give general comfort. When I got there, they told me that they had been intending on trying to overdose on their mom's pills until I showed up. Had I not come by, they might have ended up in the hospital or worse. I didn't know that they felt that terribly. That all the things I knew and didn't know about them weighed so much that there were moments from attempting suicide. I had no way of knowing that by choosing to leave my other friends and walk to their house that I was saving their life. It's easy to see now why they came to this point. After the fact, the gravity of everything became obvious, but I can't hold my past self responsible for what I didn't know, and neither can Zig, Frankie, or Miles. The warning signs aren't as easy to notice as they are on TV because there isn't a way to be as intimate with a person's mind like you can a fictional character, especially if they aren't letting you in like Esme. Remember, she only hinted to being unwell when it suited her, like when she thought Zig was spending too much time with Maya when she returned to school after her suicide attempt. Knowing the warning signs help, but there's only so much you can do or understand with limited information. Doesn't mean that we shouldn't be vigilant of the red flags, but we can't blame ourselves for not acting with knowledge we didn't have. That ended up being more of a downer video than I initially intended, but hey, what you gonna do about it, I guess? I guess I could do the artistic writer thing and just say my fingers took me where they wanted me to go, you know, the script wrote itself, so maybe I'll just go with that. Don't blame me, blame the script. But if you happen to like this video and want to keep up with my future projects, check out this Discord invite link. There you'll have access to my content stream and you'll be able to talk to me in my NotAVampyre crypt. You can also find me on Twitter at NotAVampyre. Thank you for consuming this video, and until next time.